Welcome to Business Ethics online course for the summer session of 2018 at Front Range Community College. My name is Craig, and I will be your instructor over the next 10 weeks as we endeavor to work our way through the minefield of this thing called business ethics. We have a lot to do in this semester, and so this short screencast is merely a way of helping you stay on task and give you the information necessary to help you be successful throughout the remainder of the semester. As you can see on the screen, this is the actually page, at least from my perspective as the instructor. I know students are a little bit different, but I encourage you to read everything throughout here. Obviously, you've gotten to this part because this is the video that you're watching, so this is not here, but the video is. Make sure you keep all of your dates in mind and know when things happen and what's going on. And then the school asks that you read this information here regarding conduct and how things are done in the environment to make it a safe environment for learning here at Front Range Community College. This applies even to online classes, even though sometimes we think about it as being something that's more in person. We need to be very careful about how we discuss and the way we discuss and the things that we say and be professional in all that we do. Having said that, I want to go through a couple of things to help us out. If we go to course material here on our page, I don't know if it works. There we go. A couple things here. The biggest thing for me is the content. If we go to content, you're going to get the table of contents, and in that table of contents, you're going to have information that you need to read before you really start doing much in this class, and then our weekly topics, which are 10 weeks of topics, and all the links and everything that we need are in those topics for you to be able to be successful. Please read the policies. That's the school's policies, not Craig's. Very, very important, and these dates are as well important. In here, you're going to find your syllabus, the course schedule. This is probably one of the most important pieces of paper. It tells you what's due every week and the exact date in which it's due. So please keep that in mind. These are the guidelines for our discussions, since discussions are a big part of every online class, and that really takes the place of us meeting together and having the dialogue that we would in a normal classroom setting. The reading journals, there's one due, I think, for every chapter or almost every chapter, not in the first week, not in the last week, but in between. There is one paper, large paper. It's a 4 to 6 page paper on a current issue that I give you some options of what you can write about. If you have struggles with how to cite that type of thing, this is just like a 12-minute screencast. I go through how to cite properly. Citation is not putting works cited and listing your sources. Citation is actually citing inside your paper that ties to your sources that you've listed in your works cited page. So if you're not sure how to do that, make sure you watch the screencast because citation is very, very important at the college level. So a couple of things real quick before I get any further. In here, you're going to find your syllabus. If you open the syllabus, you're going to find my email address, my Front Range email address, and then also, as you know, you should be able to go through the D2L and be able to contact me in their messaging system. If I need to contact you as a person or as a class, I will do it through the D2L messaging system, so please make sure that you check your messages regularly. Also, in there, you're going to find my cell phone listed. So I'm not opposed to getting a text or a phone call. However, I am opposed to getting a text or a phone call if it's after 9 p.m. or before 5 a.m. So as long as you don't text me too late, actually, you could probably start calling me or texting me at 4 a.m. because I'm always up. But anyway, I usually go 9 to 5, 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. is basically time that I'm not really available. If you need to get a hold of me, do so through an email, and then I will contact you first thing in the morning. I usually get up early, and that's when I do most of my grading. So that way you kind of know when I'm actually online. I go online on and off throughout the day just to check things and make sure everything's good. But I am not online much over the weekends. I will be very upfront with you. I have a lot of work to do. We have a ranch, and so as a result of that, my weekends are spent taking care of things on the ranch. And so I'm not online a lot over the weekend. So having said that, let's kind of move forward here as to what we need to discuss. So the syllabus, everything's in the syllabus. How I grade, what's graded. The syllabus is the Bible. If you're not sure what you're supposed to do, the answer's in the syllabus. If you want to know what your late policy is, it's in the syllabus. How much is everything worth? It's in the syllabus. So I expect you to read the syllabus. That's your job. I wrote it. That was my job. So please read the syllabus, know what's in the syllabus, know what the requirements are, and all the other things. I do want to look at the course schedule, and I actually have that up here. So the course schedule is very, very important. As you can see on the course schedule, week 1 starts on, that should be Tuesday, not Monday, but I will fix that. And notice on week 1, we have two discussions. So this week's discussions, your initial post must be in by 11:59 p.m. on Thursday. Okay. This discussion will close at 6 p.m. on Saturday this week only. Okay. And then discussions will close at 6 p.m. on Fridays, beginning in week 2 and going through the end of the semester. So we're going to go over the guidelines in just a minute. So I want to make sure you know that. Notice that the quiz is due on Sunday to June the 3rd by 11:59 p.m. The quiz is open for 2 hours. The quiz should take you about 10 minutes, unless you're slow. And just so anybody who wants to know, it is an open book quiz. If you want to have your book open, you can do that. And we'll make that makes it a little bit easier for you. There's no reading journals that are due. However, you must read chapters 1 and 2, and they relate to the discussions that we'll be doing for this week. Then notice that weeks 2 through week 9, there's reading journals due. There is no reading journal due on week 10. However, what I like to do is I like to put the most work up front and the least work at the end. That helps me as a teacher, but also helps you as a student, because a lot of teachers pack the back end and leave the front end loose. So there are 2 chapters to be read. On week 2, there are 2 chapters to be read. There's a reading journal due for each chapter. So on week 2 and week 3, you will be submitting 2 journals. Not one journal together, 2 separate journals in 2 separate drop boxes. Okay, so please keep that in mind, and notice that there's usually a quiz each week. In week 2, there's also a short writing assignment. Like I said, it's a little bit heavy on the front, but a little bit light on the end. So bear with me over the first 2 to 3 weeks of this semester, and things will get much easier as we go through. So notice everything, the due dates, everything that's in here that you need to know is on this. Your current issues paper will be due on the 15th of July, which is a Sunday. And so right here it's telling you exactly when it's due. So keep the schedule in mind. That's very, very important. Having said that, I want to go to the online discussion guidelines. So my discussions are run a little bit different than most people. Okay, other than week 1, when your first post could be done by 11:59 on Thursday, starting week 2 through week 10, you must post your first post by 11:59 on Wednesday. Every week, 11:59 on Wednesday. Okay, the discussions run from 12:01 on Monday morning to 6 p.m. on Friday. I do not discuss on Saturday and Sunday. And please note that you must post on at least 3 different days. Okay? The reason for this is that in most classes that I had, I took 2 online classes at the MBA level. So at the master's level, working on my MBA. And I found that everybody went in and posted all their posts at like 10 o'clock on Sunday. Okay? Which made for nobody did a discussion thread. A discussion thread means there's actually a discussion going on. So we will have a discussion. That's part of the learning process in an online class. So we must post a minimum of 4 times each week in each discussion, not in both discussions combined. You can't go 2 and 2. It's 4 minimum, 4 minimum. Please remember that. And it must be on 3 different days in each discussion. These rules apply to each discussion, not to both discussions together. Each discussion is graded as a separate discussion. Okay? So you must post at least 3 different days, and you must post at least 4 times on at least 3 different days. Whew. Too many numbers there going all around at one time. So hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say there. Okay? So you have to post on, if you post on Wednesday, you have to post on Thursday and Friday to get full points. Okay, I encourage you to start early. Okay, you are also graded on the amount of posts that you read. Okay, reading posts is very, very important. Sometimes people go in, they read a post, they respond to that post, and so they read like 6 posts and respond in those posts. Okay, now that's great. That's not a problem at all. That's not much of a discussion because you only got one point of view going on in that one. There's a lot of other information that's coming out in a lot of other posts. So I encourage you to make sure you read at least 61%. These don't make a lot of points. You're right. You don't have to. But one thing I found is that a failure to read post really means that I don't really care about what another student has to say. I want to make sure everybody reads my post. I want to make sure I get my job done. But you know what? Everybody's voice is just as important as the others, including yours. And so as a result of that, I encourage you to read your other students' posts because that will open up the door for your learning possibilities and help you think differently outside the box and view the world through a different lens. So that's very, very important to me. Okay, so discussions are huge. So in this class, discussions are the major part of your grade. About 45% of your grade are tied up just in these discussions. Okay, once the discussion closes on Friday at 6, okay, you're still able to read the postings, but you just can't respond. So don't email me and say, I just tried to post at 7 o'clock on Friday night. I just tried to post and it won't let me in. Well, of course it won't let you in because you didn't read the guidelines. You need to read the guidelines and know exactly what's happening. I grade the post on Monday or Tuesday morning, early in the morning, and so you'll know exactly what's going on. Your posts are worth 14 points and your reading is worth 4 in each one of your threads. So please keep all of that in mind, and I think that it will be a success for you if we do that. Also in the postings, remember that one-line answers are not adequate. Postings are about critical thinking. And so nice post, okay? I agree with you wholeheartely. That's a really nice thing to say to your classmate, and I encourage you to put in posts like that, encourage your classmates. However, that tells me that you didn't think much, you just wrote that down so you could meet your quota, okay? So I'm not grading on quotas, I'm grading on content. I'm not grading on quotas, I'm grading on content. Remember that, that's very, very important. Another question I get asked by a lot of students is, how much time do I need or will I spend online? Okay, and the question for that's different for every student, but I'm going to say that you're probably going to be in the discussions about 2 to 2.5 hours a week. Okay, which is actually in an online course, about 2 to 3, maybe 4 hours a week, which is equivalent if you went to the classroom and sat down in my class and we taught it face to face. Okay, so you're not spending any more time in the classroom. That will be in your discussion threads probably mostly. Then you'll have to be doing your quizzes and all the other things that you'll be normally doing outside of the class anyway. So it doesn't necessarily take as much time. It just seems a little more time consuming because you spend more time at your computer and less time face to face. So please keep that in mind. I want to show you where a couple other things are. So course materials obviously is your content. That's where everything's at. In your content, let's click on weekly topics here really quickly, and let's go to week 1. In your content, you're going to have everything you need. Here's some introductory comments that I have. Here's your reading assignment. Here's discussion number 1, discussion number 2, and there's a quiz at the end over chapter 2, I believe it is. Chapter 2, duh. Okay, and then when we go to week 2, you're going to see that there's reading assignment, there's a discussion thread. You be the prof. In this discussion thread, you ask the question and you dictate it, and it goes from there. So it's kind of a fun thing that I like to do. Here's a writing assignment that we have. This is a link to what we need to write about, and then there's the quiz. Okay, so keep that in mind. Also up here we have your assignments, the discussions, the quizzes. They're all right there. Here we have your grades or progress in your class. It's all right there. So if you have any questions, don't be afraid to call me. I hope that we have a great semester. I look forward to having you in my class. And I'll see you in discussions in just a little bit. Have a great day.